First of all, thank you, Batuhan, for allowing me to present here. It was kind of like a coincidence. Nothing in life is a coincidence, but I was traveling from New York to London, and Batuhan hosted me here and told me about Promethean Fire, and I said, oh my God, it's so resonant with what we're doing, and that's why I'm presenting here. I'm going to talk about Soulfie, which actually it's not a company, but it's more like a movement, a revolution. A decentralized, we plan to organize ourselves as a decentralized autonomous organization, but we're still structuring ourselves, and I'm going to explain what we are doing right now at this very precise moment, but I'm going to explain where all of this is going to evolve into, like a big vision that I think it's encompassing a lot of different fields towards the future of humanity. This last year I've been doing a lot of conferences all over the world, and the last one was at Science and Non-Duality, which is a community that is science-based, but non-duality, for the people who are into spirituality, is a term that refers to the sense of oneness and unity that we are all part of. And what I'm going to try to explain is how the future of transformative technological art is going to lead us towards the unity that is always present. I said that always was, but the unity and oneness in all of us, it's always present. But technology is going to help this be much more evident, let's say. I also like to call it manifesting the Magicverse of consciousness, and you'll see later what this term refers to. Okay, so it's here. So Soulfie is a collective holistic vision that leverages technology, transformative technology, exponential technology, with an understanding of consciousness from both a scientific and a spiritually based realm, and wants to convey it in an applicable way, implement these concepts through art. And I've always resonated a lot with what Steve Jobs said here, like the most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation that is to come. I think it's really through art, through images, through visuals, that these complex ideas are going to be able to be digested by the masses if we want to actually create a revolution. So Soulfie will be described as many different things, but this is the most basic one. Soulfie plans to be the sensing component for all the technological ecosystems, with sensing augmented intelligence to provide awareness, a sense of awareness of the individual self, and also there's people here talking about trust, empowered trustful co-creation among humans and technology. We believe this may actually be the ultimate link between the individual self and the technological ecosystems that we've been hearing about here. Also, let's see, I think Batuhan, this is another definition, an immersive XR dynamic mirror-like interface, AI interface. You'll see here sounds, colors, this is kind of like an hologram, and we envision this kind of immersive hologram that will be acting as a mirror to ourselves. And this is going to be infused by artificial intelligence. But I want to place this image from the very beginning in your minds, with the intention that these mirror-like sounds and colors can help us navigate the journey of our individual growth path, let's say like that. So we are going to help transition each person into these different stages that we believe are the stages of the Soulfie. First, knowing about yourself, a first sense of self-awareness, like a mirror. Oh, actually that's me, that's what I'm feeling inside. Then empowering that towards becoming what you've seen. If you need to change something about yourself, you need to become that version that you've seen that you must change. Colliding is when other people appear in our lives, because everyone that appears in our lives is because of something. Nothing happens out of coincidence. Engaging is when we start interacting with those people, and grounding is when those people with us co-create something. It's a journey from not knowing myself, being aware of myself, realizing that I need to grow, find other people that are in my same level of wavelength, start interacting with them, and then finally doing something with them, co-creating something. That is a high-level perspective of that personal journey. And we believe that what we are envisioning is actually the ultimate operating system of humanity in the sense of understanding the self. Another perspective, another definition, and you'll see these things much more they will become more understandable as we progress on the presentation, but another perspective that I like to express when I'm traveling is that Soulfie is the re-engineering of the light. What is re-engineering of the light? We'll understand that in a second. Through exponential technology, expressed in immersive interactive media, towards the evolution of humanity's consciousness spirituality into global heart coherence. What are all those terms? We'll get there. So this is another paradigm changers that we're talking about. We are not trying to make people become the hero of a game, because we are moving ourselves also in the video game industry, but the hero of their own life. It's time to gamify that personal journey that we all go through in our lives, with the intention of not creating external goals that we would need to achieve, but actually focus ourselves in inner processes. What is actually going on inside of us that we need to pay attention to in order to grow, or actually, better said, in order to remove blocks that actually help us be what we actually are. Also, we are focusing ourselves in a different kind of paradigm, which is not materially based, but frequency based. We believe that matter is actually an expression of frequency. And when you get deep into understanding what is the frequential nature of reality, then you can actually manipulate and modify reality itself. And we play with the idea of the selfie as just measuring the body of ourselves and our faces, to the Soulfie, which is a mirror of our inner state, transforming the world from within, because the world cannot be transformed from anywhere else, just from within, just understanding who we actually are. So that's a lot of stuff. So let's start from the beginning. And I will start, I'm going to discuss all of these 5 points. Unity or oneness, that is something that I think we should stop talking about it, but actually implementing or becoming aware of this sense experientially. What is the nature of reality according to vibration, the Kybalion, and all of these Eastern traditions? How that will allow us to understand that the individual self needs to be retuned or reharmonized when we get out of balance with ourselves. How that will allow all of us to follow the journey of the heart, which is the only thing that we need to do in this life, and no one has told us this. Follow the journey of the heart. And finally, how that will empower us to co-create with a collective. And this idea is very based on DAOs, how we are going to be co-creating all of us together in a harmonious way. So it's understanding where we want to go, what is the nature of reality, how to retune ourselves individually, how to actually follow the heart, and where that will lead us into, how that will lead us into co-creating with others. So unity, not just words, but technological implementation. I want to start with this little video that will set the mood of what we're actually talking about. Yes, I need sound. Is it already?
And all the stars were placed.
Probably. I'm going to start again. Okay.
Before the heavens were made, and all the stars were placed, we were one, inside God's own heart. Don't you remember? Do you remember how we wondered how it would be to walk on this great earth, having forgotten our true nature and believing only in our dreamed selves? How our Father would bring us together again in oneness by awakening our minds to the real. How many times we passed by each other on this lonely planet, asleep to our true selves and home. But today, things may be different. Oh, beloved, wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
There's been so much talk about these things. We are one, we are one, we are one. This is Terence McKenna talking about
of unpredictable,
I'm gonna
creative, open-ended activity on every level. I mean, it's really a dazzlingly kaleidoscopic vision. It's like a Soulfie hierophany or something. But we're seeing it on the screens of computer simulations of this mathematical domain that is also the neural domain, that is also the social domain, that is also the ecoplanetary domain. This is not error. This is not mysticism. This is the real facts of how it is, how the world fits together. It fits together through the infusion of its invisible soul.
this world fits together through the infusion of the invisible soul. He's talking about that sense of oneness that comes from understanding that we are all just one soul, let's say. But these have been words, and humanity has been discussing this sense of oneness for a long, long time. But the thing is that reality works like a spiral. We keep coming back to these ideas until we are able to move forward because we go deeper into them. And I think that the stage that we are at right now is to implement technology to actually experientially remember that sense of oneness. And I'm going to be highlighting the fact of removing words from our system and moving just into experience itself. And hopefully the experience of heart coherence, that video that you saw about us becoming part of just one heart. So this endeavor is, maybe someone wants to help me. Well, yeah. So the idea is that, please, let's not use more words, but let's build a solution. And there are many groups. I think someone might be helping me just go through the next slide because it's going to be a bit complicated otherwise. There are many groups around. Now it looks like it's working, but just in case it didn't, just click next. So there are a lot of groups around the world that are creating or having this intention. Digital Rain at Esalen Institute in California is one of them, very spiritual community. Consciousness hacking, I started consciousness hacking in Madrid. The idea is how to hack consciousness itself and create tools that will bridge science and spirituality together. Transformative technology, building from the heart. There is a huge, extensive community pursuing these goals. Transformative technology is another one of them. The idea is that technology will help us remember our ever-present spiritual oneness. That's what we really believe. And also by the people who may be actually scared of technology starting to be in these realms. I would just to clarify that technology from our perspective is just kind of like a scaffolding that we are building to help us remember what is actually there, the inherent psychic abilities of our consciousness that we have forgotten we have. It's not giving us nothing else that it's not already in us. It will just allow us to remember these things. For example, in the same way as the internet reminds us that we are all connected. We are all connected it's a very important fact that everyone knew from the beginning, spiritual masters, but technology has allowed that to become more self-evident. So, next, please. The vibrational nature of reality. What is reality? I visited the nephew of Nikola Tesla in Brazil, and he has this incredible quote: if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is the underlying mechanism that is actually guiding matter itself. It's not the other way around. Frequency determines how matter itself self-organizes, and I will show it to you just in a little video in a second. Next. Everything in the universe is made out of frequencies and vibration, including us. Everything is vibrating. And this is something that even science is starting to catch up. Could consciousness all come down to the way that things vibrate? There are several theories, like resonance theory of consciousness from Jonathan Schuller and Tam Hunt from University of California, Santa Barbara, and several others, like this one. Consciousness is more like music than computation. You'll see what I refer to when I say vibration and frequency. But I need sound. This is by Stuart Hameroff explaining how
nano electrodes on them, and two to stimulate, two to record, and they're good insulators. But when you stimulate it with an alternating current at different frequencies, they became conductive. The resistance dropped and became highly conductive.
What happened?
And he showed these were quantum effects. And then he used 2 megahertz to stimulate the assembly of microtubules, and he found that 2 megahertz was the sweet spot to make microtubules grow. So remember, microtubules fall apart in Alzheimer's disease. So this might be useful, right? So he then went to MIT and spent a year looking at the same thing inside neurons with these nanoprobes, and found something very interesting. He found a sequence of frequencies from terahertz to gigahertz to megahertz down into the EEG range, all from microtubule vibrations. And in one case, he put, from the electrode inside, he recorded music, or recorded sound. So hopefully this is going to play. This is the sound of microtubules inside a neuron singing.
The neurons sing.
A minute and a half. So you can see here he's sweeping the frequency. This is down converted because it would be too fast to actually hear it.
Well, you get the idea. Neurons sing. Frequency and vibration are actually the things that modify the light and sound environment that we are all interacting with. Let's say like light and sound is the phenomenological waft and weave of reality. And this can be really understood by this beautiful video. Next, please, cymatics. Matter itself is just music, a computational frequency wave. And cymatics prove this phenomenon.
The film you're about to see has no characters. It is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter.
Matter itself, like frequency and energy itself, determine how matter self-structures and organizes. So the inevitable question that can you go one before? Yeah. This brings us to is can actually physical reality be a particular frequency? Then if that's the case, physical reality is malleable. If physical reality is a particular frequency, then physical reality will be profoundly malleable through visual effects. I want to place that idea in your consciousness as well. I don't know if there's many psychonauts here that understand about psychedelics and stuff, but the ones who have tried this, I know they will understand this fact very profoundly. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, so if that is the case, and if it's energy and frequency, the things that are actually holding matter together, let's retune ourselves if we are out of balance. And how do we do this? Well, there's an emergent paradigm in science called the human biofield. And I want to show you this little video of a conference that took place just a couple of weeks ago in California. Can you click, please? No, the one before, and click. No, I think you have to go into the, there you go. What is the human biofield? It's an emerging paradigm of healthcare and well-being.
What happens if we realize that we exist beyond our physical bodies, and that these bioenergetic fields can connect to foster healing?
Invisible fields are shaping the physical reality.
On July 18th, Consciousness and Healing Initiative presents I Don't End Here.
Does it convey any useful information about our state of being and our state of health?
Connecting with over 15 luminaries to explore what happens when the conventional view of life as chemistry expands to life as biofield.
And as far as what exactly is the biofield, from my point of view, it's an energy field that surrounds and permeates the body.
Connect, explore, and expand your capacity and knowledge of healing.
We can co-author a new way of understanding how we heal ourselves, how we heal other people, how we heal our communities, even how we heal the planet.
Join us for an all-day experience with healers, scientists, educators, artists, and social activists in Santa Clara, California.
If we can reliably measure the connections between consciousness, between the biofield and our health, and that to me is a game changer in science, and it's a game changer in medicine.
With our partners, the Institute of Noetic Science and sponsors, co-creating a healing.
So you get the idea. This is incredibly controversial for the Western paradigm, but it's emerging in California mainly. A lot of researchers are going into that. And the idea is that this revolution will be, and that's what we're working on, can be enhanced by experiential technology. So this could be understood, the biofield in action, in our daily lives. Each of us having a biofield, and this is what happens when we are interacting. This is from a very beautiful movie called Celestine, I guess.
A beauty, energy.
You talk about strange. I know that woman. I saw her at the airport.
Go talk to her if you like. Wait.
Hi. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I'm Sean Woodson. Julie was showing me around.
Where's your car?
really sensitive people actually detect this. It's a matter of us making, with technology, this reality visible. So there's actually a technology that we're using called Biofield Viewer, who can allow us to see these light emission patterns of the biophotonic lights interfering with the biofield itself. And our goal is to translate that into, with machine learning and visual algorithms, into visualizations that we can see in augmented reality. Next. So the idea is that that energetic field that we have around us can be translated with reactive light and sound through AI. So we can actually visual sonify what is encoded in that information field that actually encodes most of our emotions. The current Western paradigm thinks that everything is on the brain, but everything is not on the brain. There's actually something going on before. And these researchers know exactly what kind of conditions are going to happen in the physical body before it's manifested in the physical body, because they can detect interference pattern in the biofield. I went to Chiang Mai to meet with this team, and one of the programmers that programmed the Power VR chips of iPhones and iPads, and they put me in front of these cameras, and the technician could tell me, how's the relationship with your mother? I said, what? How do you know that? Well, there's an interference pattern here showing up in red, so it looks like you actually have some kind of block regarding, in your field, regarding that aspect of your reality. Actually, my relationship was really blocked with my mother, so they could actually predict it. But again, this is something that we don't want to talk about, but prove experientially. So the idea is sonify with sounds and colors the human biofield. This is something done by Sander Bos. I think you know Sander. It's from a different... I just put that example to show that reactive sound and colors, and this is something that I like as well. Show me your sounds and colors. I want to feel your electromagnetic frequency and weave it with mine. This is actually what we feel in real life, but we're going to be able to see it. And this is one proof of concept that we're working on. Which is actually seeing those sounds and colors that we are having in our body. So that was optical flow, which tracks the displacement of light, mapping pixels on the surface of the skin running through TensorFlow, machine learning using GPU. We potentially see light traveling in acupuncture meridians. And that is a test happening in Touch Designer for the creative people here that could actually be transformed into a plugin for Unreal and Unity engines that could actually be visualized in these new interfaces that are coming into the world. Actually, I think the big revolution is going to happen when Apple releases their eyeglasses that are going to be incredibly small, beautiful, and they are preparing the ecosystem for this next paradigm in mixed reality technology.
When are they doing it?
Sorry?
When are they releasing it?
Well, there's speculation, but probably very soon, I guess. Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen patents that they're releasing on this. So, but they have their iWatch, who measures the heart rate variability, which is biometric sensors. They have the AirPod, just so you can wear them all day long. The only thing that is missing is the glasses, because the iPhone is going to act as a graphical computer. So this is going to be incredibly slim and beautiful, just like normal glasses. And people are going to be able to see a lot of stuff. We believe that this is actually maybe the killer app for what they are building. But let's see.
iPhone's camera is designed to work with the virtual reality.
Yeah.
How do you call it? Which one is horizontal? This one?
That's horizontal,
yeah,
vertical.
So like it's designed to keep your camera horizontal.
Yeah.
Which is designed to put in a virtual cardboard.
Yeah. So my vision is digital synesthesia, is people being able to not have to talk about how we feel, but actually just hear how we feel or see how we feel. Oh, why are you so red? But, like that kind of stuff. But actually in a unified field. So we actually are creating a lot of stuff here, and people who are very sensitive to these things can see it, can feel it. But technology, I think, is just going to be, again, a scaffolding that's going to help us remember that we have the ability to see these things or feel these things, but sometimes we forget. Next one, please. So actually, this is a Promethean Fire event, and this is from the website. The gift of fire, or the gift of light, gave them power to become as the gods. I think we are re-engineering the light. We're going to be able to tame the light towards understanding who we actually are. Next one. Actually, there's a very prominent field in science called optogenetics, and I think it's the cutting edge of neuroscience, how we can manipulate matter itself just with light. They can induce memories, they can erase memories on mice just by putting lasers on the neurons. Optogenetics is a biological technique that involves the use of light to control cells in living tissue, typically neurons. And scientists, they're starting to discover that consciousness is incredibly directed to light, more than we thought. When we say that when we say someone is a light being, it's because actually it's showing a lot of light in their field, and this is not just a metaphor. This is a very important physicist that I met in Science and Non-Duality. Light is the carrier of information. Biophotonic information is the thing that actually holds the key to knowing who we are. Well, this is Science and Non-Duality. Can you just... and I like this video that explains this idea of rainbow body and biophotonic body. Sound, Batu? Batu? That one.
Rainbow body and coherent biophotons body. According to Wang et al., 1914, the body has a bioinformation network of optical channels or meridians through which light particles of various frequencies are circulated and are able to generate syntropy in complex biological processes. These light particles are known as biophotons and can present different frequencies and colors. Is this photonic body of quantum biology what the Buddhists and Margaret de Sereni call the rainbow body? The rainbow body of the Dzogchen tradition, meaning the great perfection of Tibetan Buddhism, seems to have some similarities to the quantum body formed by the biophotons of quantum biology. In the class on Taoist medicine, Dr. Paul Druin states that the quantum vital body is a rainbow body. According to him, this subtle body is formed by the meridians of acupuncture and colorful waves with different vibrational densities. This shimmering body changes its colors and is singing according to one's mental and emotional state. Dr. Paul points out that the sound is associated with the yin polarity of vital body, whereas the yang polarity is associated with the light. The vital body, therefore, has a dual nature, sound and light. This statement points to the possibility of an acoustic version of the vital body, the existence of a sound body formed by photons and sound particles.
I think you get the idea. So that is what we'll be able to create and what will actually give us that sense of self-awareness, kind of like a magical mirror, a mirror of the soul, let's say, that could actually not only help us understand ourselves, but I think also understand each other. This is a metaphor for the music of the spheres, or the Indrasnet that so much spiritual people have talked about for centuries. I think what we're doing is technologizing Indrasnet so that we realize that we are the music of the spheres ourselves. Each of us is a sphere, actually a node that could actually...
In a very real sense, we're sharing the same dream. And so I recognize that I'm in some ways playing a role, but who I really am is so much bigger, so much more mysterious. It's eternal, it's infinite, it's timeless, it's connected to everything. Then there's this collaboration, a symphony of all these different harmonious pieces, each of us playing a part of the overall song, and that this is the so-called music of the spheres, that it's our consciousness that creates all of this. And when we get there, then that is oneness, because everything's back together again.
I love that statement. Next. there's this collaboration of symphony of all these different harmonious pieces, each of us playing a part of the overall song. Actually, that's what's happening. Each of us is playing a part of the, we have our sounds, we have our colors. That is the so-called music of the spheres. That it's our consciousness that creates all of it. And when we get there, that is oneness, because everything's back together again. We're playing this beautiful symphony. So the idea is that would provide us a sense of self-awareness, but we can even go beyond that, which is retuning, which is the healing itself. Sound healers are working with this. Sound healers create sounds that are emitting certain frequencies that have the power to penetrate on different things that we have blocked. This is incredibly beautiful. I don't know if you have tried it, sound healing, but I really encourage that. It's very beautiful. So I think we will actually create kind of like the next technological membrane that will allow us to retune or receive the minerals and frequencies that we have, kind of like a technological uterus. Also, so much theories about how in the biofield itself, there's the traumatic experiences that we have lived in our past lives are actually stored there. So when we say when we are not flowing with life, what's actually happening is that we have a block that is preventing the energy to flow into our system. And that's why we distort reality. We operate in a different way because we are not seeing reality as it is because of this block. And that block tends to be the one that has the traumatic experiences, which are correlated with stories that we have lived that are not, that didn't have a nice ending and have traumatized ourselves and need to be removed. And that's part of something that I think also this will evolve into. We're just now moving into a speculation, but I see a direct correlation with it. And I can see the correlation, for example, I think it's one before. Can you go one before? Yeah, so Stan Grof and Rick Tarnas are very famous transpersonal psychologists from the Israel Institute, and they found that the visualizations that people see under LSD, what is the things that I see when I am on that altered state, are incredibly correlated with the energy of the transits of the natal chart. So it's not people that don't understand astrological phenomena tend to believe that it's bullshit. How is the planet going to affect us directly? But how I understand it is that it's based on frequency itself, and it's just kind of like a clock that is telling us what is going up there is actually going inside here. In the macrocosm, it's connected to the microcosm, and the idea is that again, when they calculate your natal chart and they give you LSD, the things that you see under that experience can be predicted based on how that energy is happening on the heavens, connected to your own energy on your natal chart. So I very easily envision. Very easily envision this. Different planets that are correlated with archetypes, translated into characters.
Bro, a whole heap of crazy guys are following us, and all because, what the hell is it? I hope it's not radioactive. Just kidding. Touch it. It's cool. Why don't you look for a girlfriend?
So these are reactive characters that we are actually, they are being developed. And what I'm envisioning very easily is that each of them will have a particular personality, an archetype that will be able to play the theater of our inner state at a particular moment based on how our natal chart is acting. You can understand that yourself could be, consciousness is here, and there's a theater around us based on the energies that are around us. And understanding vibration, we could translate that information into characters, so we can relive stories and turn ourselves inside out. So we don't just leave it in here, but we can actually create the theater of our inner state. So we would actually be able, I really believe, go to the next one, render characters that are based on our past experiences. I see it happening very easily. And this is an example that I found in a video clip that point to that direction.
Loving you was young and wild and free. Loving you was cool and high and sweet. Loving you was sunshine, safe and sound, a steady place to let down my defenses. But loving you had consequences.
These are the kind of characters that are being developed right now. Holographic virtual beings.
This like emotionally connected moment with Lucy. It's very intimate. Literally talking into a tin can telephone where you can listen and then say things back to her.
Lucy just invites you into her space and she asks you, hey, can you hear me? Lucy starts to talk about how her grandmother used to say this thing, how most people are good. So she starts asking you questions about when was the last time you met a good person and what was their name and did you learn anything from them? We are expanding upon Lucy's senses, her voice, her hearing.
Computer vision to give the character eyes, natural language processing so that the character can speak to us.
We are really asking audiences to open up, to use their voice, have a conversation with the character, which is this whole new amazing realm.
When you are interacting with Lucy and you're telling Lucy things, Lucy's going to remember.
She's storing those memories, and the potential to use that back in the larger story is incredibly powerful.
Lucy says, hey Cyan, how are you doing? What's been up since the last time we saw each other? What? I mean, that's some futuristic, amazing, and we're now, it's not.
So these characters are gonna be fed in with the information that we're gonna provide, of the frequential information of the state of the user. So the characters, this is a speculation, but I see the connection very easily. So I want you to think that our inner state is gonna be represented audiovisually on a theater around us. That's what I call also the Magicverse of consciousness, is that we are moving into a universe that is gonna be populated by characters that actually understand who we are and what's our inner state, so we can actually heal ourselves. And I want to correlate that, well, maybe this is a bit too much. This is too much as well. I'm gonna go to something easier. So following the journey of the heart, what is this thing that I'm talking about? We know this. I think this makes sense to all of us. Can you? Yes. The heart knows best. And this is not just a metaphor. That's something that we, the humans of the 21st century, need to understand. The heart holds the key of the truth of our being. And I want to show this little video that correlates with all of the things that we've been discussing so far.
Embrace vulnerability. Have the courage to be imperfect, to make our story shine. Every story has its own unique rhythm, its unique frequency, its unique sound. Find our beat, our rhythm, and resonate. Other sounds will then find their way towards you and will resonate in harmony. The music born of this union will be more than just a coincidence. It will be the sound of synchronicity. One that will guide you, help you in your journey through life. Sound is vibration, and you sound perfect the way you are. I'm the instrument to enrich your own symphony if you choose to resonate with me. Everything is in its right place. Breathe, smile, and enjoy the ride.
So this is another video that we have created with this technology, being able to see the color and vibration of reality itself through these lenses. And I want you to connect this visualization of real life, what is going on, that we are not perceiving because our eyes are modifying this reality, and with this, the heart knowing what kind of frequency to go towards to. The physical reality that we live in is virtual, and it's made of, as I said, frequency. It's vibrating at certain tones. That's why the heart knows where to go, because the heart itself creates an electromagnetic field. And this has been proven by the HeartMath Institute in California. So what I'm talking about is actually reimagineering the heart as the next GPS system of humanity. We're going to be wearing these glasses, and we're going to have access to a suggestion of where your heart is telling you to go next, which actually, as I said, it's already in us, but we have forgotten how to follow this. We don't dare, or we have not the courage to actually understand that the truth lies in here. But with this technology, HeartMath technology, coupled with visualization that measures the frequency of reality, we'll eventually have that GPS system that will guide us in our journey through life. That's the HeartMath technology. And I'm talking about the energetically frequential nature of reality to create a balance between the mind and the heart. The information actually happens first in the heart, and then we rationalize it with the mind. It's not the other way around. We live in a very mind-centered society, but I think we should move, and this is kind of like our goal, to move more into a heart-centered reality that is much more intuitively based. And intuition is much more powerful than rationality. Intuition processes much more data than just the brain. The malleability of reality. And I call it as well the upcoming metaverse of light re-engineered from the heart. What I call by this is that technologically we are also creating a new metaverse. It's called the spatial web, the web 3.0. The internet is now moving into the 3D. Each pixel of reality is going to have its own URL. It's what's called verses. I'm going to skip this video. But people are talking in the spatial web, which is the internet of 3 dimensions that we're going to be living in. Generative AI. Generative AI is what we're using to visualize the biofield into sounds and colors. Its ability to compose dynamic music, lighting, sound effects, conversations, and complex scenes will soon be used to auto-generate contextually meaningful narrative arcs, fully interactive and immersive AR and VR, environments, architectures, products, and characters. We're going to be living with a whole new layer of reality. And our goal is that reality should not come from an outside creator, but should come from our inner self. What is actually going on in ourselves, and based on that information, render those characters, those visualizations, those visual effects. As an example, remember what I mentioned before? Soulfie is the re-engineering of the light through exponential technology, like artificial intelligence, extended reality technology, expressed in interactive media towards the evolution of humanity's consciousness into global heart coherence. Next. Look at this video. This is the 2 biofields entering into heart coherence with one another.
It's one thing to just give energy,
That is the goal that we have in mind, how to put two people in front of each other, see their bioenergetic information through sounds and colors, and ask them to look into their eyes to enter into heart coherence, which is that my heart field and your heart field create a unified heart field in which we feel safe and we can express our vulnerabilities. That's what we need. I don't think we need any other thing on this world, but just open ourselves up to each other. And I think we can mediate that through visual effects. For example, this is an example of what could happen when two people enter into heart coherence. That kind of So I'm talking there, the upcoming metaverse of light, re-engineered from the heart, and when that heart coherence happens, visual effects, sonifying and visualizing that is actually happening. So people have the courage to do it and actually be more engaged into doing it. This is what I call the Magicverse of consciousness. We're going to be living in a world with visual effects. Visual effects that are going to be on top of those layers of digital information that so many companies are now talking about. This is Magic Leap, and they're talking about different layers of information. The physical world is going to have a digital world that is going to have the mobility layer, the energy water, but what we're focusing on is health and wellness, communications, and coupling that with entertainment, because you cannot engage people into this. It's not that easy, but if you gamify it, if you create beauty out of it, people are going to be willing to tap into this. Real magic. This is, forget about the movies, here's the real thing. That book is incredible, by one of the founders of Institute of Noetic Sciences, explaining the power of intention. I love this clip, let me play it. Let me share this whole new magical world with you. Do you trust me? This is coming.
Do you trust me?
A world of magic and being kids again. I want to be a kid forever. I don't know about you. And I think this is actually the thing that will catapult us forward into the age of Aquarius. When people talk about 5D, that we are moving into, we are ascending as humanity, I think that's what will allow that to happen, is moving ourselves from a low frequency, which is matter, into light, sounds, and colors that are going to be much more subtle and beautiful. This is from the Elton John movie, and when I watched it, I said, oh wow. That's what we all want, ascend. The evolution of consciousness itself. I think this is the evolution of consciousness, not any other thing. I think that's what we all want to go. And I like this clip, like everything the light touches is our kingdom, from the Lion King movie. Everything the light touches. Again, we are all coming back to the ideas of the light. And you must take your place in the new circle, in the circle of life. I think we are going into a new cycle that is going to be mediated by the light.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
By the way, this is the first talk that I do with my new name, because my name is Luis Miguel, and people from international places don't understand the name, so I put Lumi, and Lumi means light. So the last one, co-creating with the collective. How does all of this translate into being living in a more harmonious way? This is how birds operate. It's based on swarm intelligence that so many DAOs are, well, actually DAOs are built on the knowledge of these things. How these animals can talk so rapidly that they can take collective decisions very quickly. And I want you to show you, I want to pay attention to what they say about words and why we have this block with the words.
Human beings are the cooperative species. I mean, that's what made us so successful. There's no other species on Earth that can come together in such groups, instantly intuit what everyone else is thinking.
I see us going over the next 30, 40 years at the utmost from individuals, me and you, to a meta-intelligence where 8 billion people are plugged in.
One could imagine a world where thoughts are flowing freely between different minds, but different minds are solving problems or looking at things from a different perspective.
They say 2 heads are better than 1. Well, in the future, and that's going to blow the walls off what humanity is capable of.
Because ultimately, it's about collecting input from diverse groups.
For animals, the key to swarm intelligence is rapid communication.
Rapid communication.
One of the things that's held back humans from tapping the full potential of swarm intelligence is our traditional word-based language. Powerful as it is, it's just too slow.
Right now, we communicate at something like 40 to 60 bits per second via voice. But our brains can process information much faster. If we're trying to
Can you,
solve
next? So this is what happens with bees, for example. Bees have what they call bee waggle dancing, which is they dance and they communicate just by vibration. Like, again, we go back to vibration and frequency. Based on how much one bee dances, bee waggle dancings, the rest adapt. That's what they do, these different animals that can have the ability to communicate through swarm. So connect the dots. If we can translate ourselves into sounds and colors, so we can start communicating ourselves without words, and we can visualize these things in extended reality technology, so that all of us can interact with these, different gradients of colors. And if we can add on top of that swarm artificial intelligence, which is the new paradigm of artificial intelligence, who is allowing different collectives to work together as a team, and we can all see this information on our devices. I want to put you this example. This is swarm artificial intelligence operating in real life, how different people are collectively making decisions. Like and they're seeing in real life how the collective is operating. So what I'm saying is that each of us, well, this is an example that they were able to predict who would win the best actress in leading role, Brie Larson in the movie Room, before it was actually granted the Oscar. So, and this is an example of each of us, like each of the different people involved in the collective decision making, being able to see where the whole decision is going. So I think that will allow us to operate in a much more faster way, translating that information in the collective. This is too intense, I will skip it. I think actually I should finish. But the main idea was this, that thinking about a decentralized vision, because we're fully aware of the sensitivity of data ownership. Soulfie is going to be built by, this is abstract information that we talked about, the stages of Soulfie that I described, and the different companies that we've been mapping that are experts on all of the different stages that we've been describing in the different fields and for the different inner states of our being. So many people working on this, and we believe that we can create the ultimate Soulfie DAO by connecting what we're working on, that sensing component, to measure the biofield and output that creatively, with all of these technological ecosystems that can be guided into creating that personalized journey of self-growth. So, collective vision of technology, science and spirituality, and immersive art. We've already discussed this. This is just a reminder. The paradigm changes that we've talked about. Well, this is something that I always share. Sophia and the White Lions, my biggest inspirations. Sophia, you taught me the static frequency of unconditional love, and I promised her that I wouldn't stop until we recreate an entire universe, recreating just with it all. And the White Lions, actually I found out that Sophia, according to Gnostic myth, is the one who is the emanation of eternal light, an immaculate mirror of God's activity. Soulfie is a mirror. So, and I'm protected by the White Lions. Today is Lion's Gate. I don't know if you know about it. But lions are the protectors of the new energy coming into the world. People from spiritual traditions know this. And actually today is a very important day. It's Lion's Gate.